What's up guys, I'm Caden with Crypto Now or Never and welcome back to another update on Turbo. If you enjoy this style of content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, none of this is financial advice. Let's get into it.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want.
Okay, so honestly, not a whole lot has changed since my last Turbo video. Turbo is currently sitting at a $296 million market cap, so it's actually back under 300 million. But what I want you guys to understand about Turbo from a technical analysis standpoint is that you could argue it's still in a giant cup and handle, a giant bull flag, or even a giant falling wedge. Whatever pattern you want to choose. But basically, what you are watching for Turbo is to see when this trend line eventually breaks. That's how you know the breakout might be coming, or that it might even break down from this pattern. Because you can see to the upside and to the downside, this trend line has been bounced off of many different times. Just understand from a technical analysis standpoint that you are watching to see which level breaks, whether it's to the downside or to the upside. What's interesting about Turbo right now is that Ethereum has had another very nice breakout. You can see that the daily candle actually closed above the 21-day moving average yet again. However, over the last day, we've been dropping a little bit. But right now, we're fighting to stay above the 21-day. If we can have a bullish close today, then I think that'll be a great look for Turbo. If you look at the stochastics and RSI, they both have juice to push up. I wouldn't be shocked at all if we do end up having a strong close today. Obviously, understand that's not guaranteed though. What I do also really like to see though right now is Bitcoin dominance. So if you guys have been watching my previous content, you know that I had Bitcoin dominance drawn in this bear flag. And I even inverted the chart for you guys. And the reason I inverted the chart is because it looked like we were in a cup and handle pattern. Or at least that we had a very strong breakout and then we were forming a bull flag. And we were about to retest the 21-day and the 200-day. But you can see that we clearly had a rejection off of these levels. Now we would love to see this bear flag truly break to the downside. If it were to hit this measured move, it'd take us down to around 57%. And if Bitcoin dominance drops that much, that should be very good for altcoins. I want you guys to understand that Bitcoin dominance during the last altcoin season was ranging from 48% to 39%. So even though it's been dropping a little bit over the last few weeks, it's still very high right now. And it makes sense as to why we're not seeing a lot of altcoins explode. And again, you look at a project like Turbo, and Turbo is just trading in this textbook falling wedge or even a textbook bull flag. And just to show you guys the kind of breakout I'm talking about, look at this previous falling wedge right here. You can see that price action finally had a candle that closed above this trend line. And then it started trading sideways a little bit. That showed you that the downside was pretty much over. So we're looking for something very similar with the current pattern. Now, if we come over to CoinMarketCap and we look at Turbo's volume, you can see that the volume is starting to fall off a little bit. And obviously that's to be expected because Turbo is just in pure consolidation mode right now. However, I do want to point out that it's not like the volume is bad right now. If you compare it to a lot of other projects in this range, it's very competitive. Popcat and ApeCoin are both higher, but Turbo's higher than Mog, it's higher than Dog, it's higher than Mew, it's higher than Toshi. So don't just assume Turbo has bad volume. The volume is still very solid. And you can see that a lot of the volume right now is coming from Gate.io and Binance. Those are the two highest volumes. It's interesting to see that HTX has fallen down the rankings a little bit. It's only 3.4%. There was a point in time where HTX actually had higher volume than Binance. Obviously not as an overall exchange, but for Turbo specifically. Now, if we come over and we take a look at the Turbo X account, you can see they're up to 113.5k followers. And they actually just posted 5 hours ago, why be cool when you can be ice cold? And then 23 hours ago, once you find your star and burn for it, Turbo will shine bright for your allies too. And I point this out all the time, but it's very important that these projects are posting on X pretty much every day. Because the reality is you're not always going to have super important news to share, but you need to have something to share with your community. If you're not keeping your community engaged as a project, then it's going to be very difficult for you to succeed. But Turbo's almost always doing a very good job of that. And as I've said for a long time, they have one of the strongest communities out there. And that's part of the reason that Turbo had such a strong move to begin with. That's what a lot of people are forgetting. Turbo ran up over 120% from the lows. That's more than a lot of other projects, and Turbo had a much higher market cap than a lot of the other projects. And this wasn't due to any major news, like any listings or anything like that. It's simply because a lot of people viewed Turbo as being very undervalued. But that's about it for Turbo. I quickly just want to show you guys Bitcoin as well. And I'm actually quite bullish on the Bitcoin chart because of where we retested. So you can see that Bitcoin came down and had tweezer bottoms and a textbook bounce off of the 50-day moving average. And you pair this with the idea that the 50-day was pretty much lined up perfectly with the previous high. If Bitcoin can get a strong move from here, this would be a textbook support and resistance flip. Now, similar to Ethereum, if price action drops right back down, then that's not going to be a great look. But as of right now, this could absolutely be something that confirms a bottom. This current candle does appear to be forming a bullish hammer. We would love to see a big wick to the downside that shows a lack of sell pressure. So in general, this current candle is going to be very important for Bitcoin and for Ethereum. Right now, they both have bullish hammers, but we would love to see strong closes. Especially for Ethereum, we want to close above the 21 day. But that's about it for the update today. If you guys are interested in Turbo and just getting into projects super early in general, then I always recommend taking a look at my Discord. At the current moment, I have 3 different tiers, but as a lot of you guys know, we've been making huge gains in here this entire cycle. Some of these projects you could have turned $1,000 into over $200,000. So if this is the kind of community that you'd like to be a part of, you can find the link right here on my YouTube homepage. It'd be awesome to see you guys in there with us. But that's about all. Let me know down in the comments how you guys are feeling about Turbo. If you found this content valuable, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.